campers, hope you're okay. Welcome again to the TK live stream number 11. Great to have you. This is our penultimate week. I think our last one will be next week on the 27th, but more about that later on. If you're in, let me know. Say hello in the comments, because it would be great to see you and know that there's folk in the stream. If you're new to this, thanks for being here. We are streaming in the Troubled Kids group in Facebook, and you can follow the replays in YouTube, of course. But if you want to watch it live, this is the place to be. Just search it up, Troubled Kids group in Facebook, and you'll have a chance to join us live. But as I say, they'll be there in YouTube if you'd rather that. So if we haven't met and you've not been in before, my name's Jonny Matthew. I'm a social worker and a criminologist and an adoptive parent and done all kinds of stuff. And this was just really my way of trying to connect with people and be available, really, and to add an extra dimension to the brilliant stuff that's going on in the Troubled Kids group. Every day there's such fantastic stuff in there. So I'd urge you to join that if you can. If you're watching the replay, please subscribe on YouTube, and then when we go live again, you will get alerted to that, and also you can get the replays for that. So there we go. Let's do our slightly overstated 80s rock theme tune, just because it's fab. Here we go. There we go. So I always feel a bit stunned when that's finished. Anyway, let's press on. Anyway, it's good to have you guys in, and we'll come back to comments a little bit later on. Now today, here we go. We're giving these away today. Where are we? There we are. Inspiration from Ace Interrupters in Great Britain. Made me laugh. Now, I had a phone call a few months ago, probably a year or more ago, and from a lady called Kate. I was looking for a post-it note with her name on because she sent me these, who was doing the interviews. She's part of, I think, the Bangor University team that are working with Public Health Wales and have been involved in some of the ACEs studies and so on. Well, they were putting this together, and basically what it is, it's introductions with a whole list of people, some of whom, a couple of whom I know, many of whom I don't. I know Jane Boone, a creative activist who's popped into this group before now. I know she's in here. I've got a section in here talking about the work that Tricia Skuse and myself and Dusty Kennedy and the Facts team did with the Youth Justice Board around trauma-informed practice with kind of the more kind of high-risk recidivist children and teenagers who offend. So we've got there's a bit in here. I did a phone interview, and there's a write-up on that. Liz Gregory from the Gwent Attachment Service is in here. Corinne Morgan Armstrong, who does a lot of work in Park Prison, is in here as well. So there we go. They are essentially interviews and transcripts turned into articles of people who are actually actively working in the field, in a whole range of fields, to mediate some of the effects of adverse childhood experiences and make a difference to kids and families in moving them forward. So we're giving those away today. There's 2 of them. So we'll do that at the end, as we normally do. So if you fancy that, stay on. If you're new to this, what we tend to do is look at a couple of the posts that have appeared in the group this week, just because there's lots of new people. I didn't do a count of members, but I know we're probably approaching around about 1,380 people, 1,400 people in the group now. So there's quite a lot of folk who are new in, and it's just good to be able to take a little bit of a tour through some of the stuff that's in the group, just to give you a sense of how rich it is, really. As I say, this is not about me. This is really about facilitating like-minded people to help and support each other as best we can. So we'll look at some posts from the group. I've got a website that I want to look at briefly. We've got a question, actually, this week that I want to answer. And then we'll look at a website. Then we'll do the book giveaway. We'll be done by 1 o'clock and possibly before then. If you're listening live, it's 8 minutes past 12 now. Okay, brill. Right, so posts of the week. Now, Mary O'Shaughnessy posted this. It's an appeal, really, or a question for me in terms of the group. So she's talking about a charity called Children Heard and Seen. And I know Cara is in the group. I don't know if she's listening, but Cara has recently joined the group in the last few days, I think. And she's a part of the charity. So Children Heard and Seen. They're trying to reach out to as many schools as possible before the holidays to make them aware of the support available to children with parents in prison. Okay, so Children Heard and Seen. I've got support available to children with parents in prison. If anyone has contacts with schools and could make them aware of the service, they have a letter which can be emailed out and so on. Time is short, so every contact would help. So there we go. Just to say before we go any further, it's a really important group of kids who often get missed because sympathies clearly don't lie very strongly, generally speaking, with people who are in prison. There's also, of course, the added stigma of being a parent and a prisoner and what that does to the self-esteem of the person, never mind the kind of services that are available. But I know prisons are working hard at this, and there's a number of charities that do some work with this. So Bernardo's Missing, Bernardo's, I think it's Invisible Walls service in Wales does a lot of work around that. I know Corin Morgan Armstrong, who I talked about just now, who's in this book. He has been done some quite pioneering work in connecting prisoners with their families. It's a really important group of children who often get missed. And it may well be that if there's a mum or grandparent who's looking after a child, the child is in school, nobody may really be aware that this child is dealing with having a parent, usually a father, but not always, in custody. And it's a big deal. So I just wanted to highlight this, really. I'm just going to share the Mac screen with you because there's a website here. This is the Children Heard and Seen website. And I just wanted to connect you with that, really, and to refer you back to the post in the group which Cara posted, and there is a link in there, I believe, that you can use to get through to them. So if you're connected with education, if you've got a child in school, if you're a professional with any sort of schools links and that kinds of things, please have a look at that, because I think just even pinging a link in an email to a head or a teacher in school saying, just in case you're aware of or know of any kids with parents in custody, this is a really good resource. And they can actually offer direct support to families as well. So please do that. Get on, have a look at that, because again, the more people we can put in touch with good services, the better. So thank you for that. Welcome, Cara, to the group. It's good to have you here. Now, Leanne, who won the Harry the Hound book, she posted a link to a group of people or a website called Headstart Kernow. Kernow, Kernow. Kernow is, it's the Cornish word for Cornwall. So Cornwall is Kernow. Kernow is Cornwall. In fact, all my family live in Cornwall. My brother and his family, my sister and my mum and dad are there. My mum's Cornish, so they live in Cornwall. In fact, my dad speaks Cornish and he's learning Cornish. He's 80 in 2 months' time, but he's learning Cornish. It just puts me to shame. But anyway, she's posted this link, so let me just share this with you as well. So here you go, Headstart Kernow Youth. Basically, it's a useful aid to schools in kind of putting together recovery plans for the kind of post-COVID period, really. So it's just a useful resource. There is a quick online form if you want that, so that they can keep you in touch with what they're doing. They're using Dr. Pookie Knightsmith's 6 areas for reflection when you are thinking about recovery and these kind of things. So here they are in front of you, and so they're built around these 4 ideas here: safe, welcoming, all together, and nurturing. And then round that are the Pookie's kind of 6 areas. I like the fact that it starts off with staff well-being. You know, you can't pour from an empty cup. Take care of yourself first. So that's there. So again, there's a link in the, I think I put the link in the description for that. If I didn't, I will certainly, I don't think I did actually, I'll put it in the link for the YouTube replay so that you guys have got that. So there we go. So that is, that's the stuff from the post this week. I just wanted to say also that as I was trawling through the group again this morning, thank you for posting what you post. It's great. It's lovely to see new people posting. It felt for quite some time as if there was only 3 or 4. You know, I post obviously. Martin Hatton, his principal poster. Kerry and Lynn and Harry Coleman and a few others have posted from time to time. Sorry if I've forgotten you and you've posted. But what I noticed today was there's a real kind of burgeoning of different people posting. I know Cara posted the Children Heard and Seen on there, and Deborah and a number of others have posted things. So thank you for that. It's so lovely to see new people posting and the richness of material and stuff that's on there. It's a place I trawl through constantly, and I'm finding stuff that you guys are pointing out. And that's really what I wanted this to be somewhere where we can all kind of learn from each other. So thank you for that. And again, if you're new to the group, just get in, have a look, just cruise around. There's so much stuff in there. It's fantastic. It's probably the only place you can cruise around without getting arrested. So do a little bit of web surfing in the Trouble Kids group and see what's there. And if you come across something interesting, useful, that you found has helped you, training, resources, infographics, web links, podcasts, video, whatever it might be, drop it in, because the chances are there'll be somebody that will get some benefit from it. The other thing that I want to mention, which I'll refer to again in a moment, is if you've got questions for the group, post the question, because there is a lot of expertise in this group, and it's lovely just to see people helping each other out. So thank you for posting, and keep it up. It's fantastic. All right. So normally we do a questions thing here, and we've got a question today. It's not a question for me particularly, but I wanted to raise it because it's a question in the group that I think is really valid. And it was a question raised by Sarah Walton. And Sarah said, does anyone have good resources to explain to a child about attachment disorder, specifically or disorganized attachment, but attachment disorders in general, as a child with a diagnosis wants to find out more about this? So a few of you have chipped in, and I've got a couple of thoughts on this. So I'm just going to fly through some stuff here. This is a book that I really like. Attachment in Common Sense and Doodles. It's a great name for a book. There's all kinds of diagrams and, easy cartoony stuff in there. It's by Dr. Miriam Silver, extremely experienced clinician, totally gets and knows her stuff around this, and as you know, she's been involved in the BPS for years, and was I think they have some kind of attachment group that she was involved in. But that's really good. I've had that quite a long time. I'm not sure when it was published. Let's have a look. Oh, it's only 2013, so it's not too bad. It's really good. I like it. It's more useful I find it useful for me to kind of usefully distill all the kind of disparate things that you kind of know and come to mind when you think about a subject like attachment. I find that a really helpful way, and the graphic representation of things is quite handy as well. Lisa Davis, former colleague of mine. Hi Lisa, if you're on, from Neathport Talbot. She recommended John Timpson's books. Now, let me show you the screen here because you can see these. Now, there's a link in the description for these. These are little books on attachment. So if you've got a Timpson's near you, you know, one of these kind of shoe bar places where you get your soles redone and your keys cut, they have these for sale there. And certainly they used to give them away. I don't know if they still do, but you can buy them on the website here. But they're clearly not making any profit out of it, but because they're really cheap. But they're really good. And if anybody's ever heard John Timpson talk, he's an adoptive parent. In fact, one of his sons, biological son, I think, but doesn't really matter. One of his sons was the Minister for Children in the previous government. I mean, he knows his stuff, John. He's a lovely man. I've met him a couple of times. And he's basically written these books. I've got a couple here. They're fab. They're just really lovely, cartoony things. So that's how to create a positive future. This one is a guide to attachment. They're really good. So I recommend them. Now, what I would say about these, for what it's worth, is that the pictures are better than the text. The text is very pared down, and there's not a lot of text, as you can see on these pages here, on this side here, but the text is still quite adult. Some of it's brilliant, some of it just slips into being slightly adult. However, the pictures are great, and you can easily just bung a post-it note over that or edit it as you're reading it to a child. It's very it's just nice. It's nicely cartooned and stuff. So again, I'd recommend those. Thanks, Lise, for reminding us about that. Then Deborah, hi Deb, I think you're on, or we're on earlier. Deborah Clements recommended this book, Help My Feelings Are Too Big, Making Sense of Yourself and the World After a Difficult Start in Life for Children with Attachment Issues by K.L. Aspden. I don't know this, I haven't read it, but I have no doubt if Deborah's recommending it, that's good. It'll probably depend on how old the kids are and things. Let's have a quick look. How it started, toddlers, children at home, school, feelings, oh no, all kinds of stuff in there. Louise Bombay, incidentally, has written, there we go, this looks fab actually. There we go. Anyway, get a sense of that. I noted that Louise Bombay had written the introduction to that. Louise is a total favourite of mine, as you know. And in fact, I should say while I'm on, I've been reading this. Oh my word, fantastic. No Me to Teach Me, absolutely brilliant. I'm nearly halfway through it. I managed to do some sneaky reading on the weekend, and I've done a bit. I've been reading each morning for half an hour, and I'm about halfway through it. Really enjoying that. But Louise has written the foreword to this book that Deborah recommended. So I have no doubt if she's read it and is endorsing it, that it'll be a good one. So thanks, Deb, for recommending that. Martin also linked to a little sorry, I'm flicking screens a bit too much here, aren't I? To this video, attachment theory video by Psych2Go. Again, there's a link in the description. It's a little kind of animated video done with Doodly, I think, or something like that. Again, great little summary. It's 2.5 minutes long, nearly 3 minutes long. Great. That might work for kids. It's very simple language. It's subtitled. So you've got kids with hearing issues, or you know, you want to play it quietly and you can read it to them, or whatever it might be. That might be useful. So thanks for that, Mart. And then lastly, just to say, in terms of for you guys, there's a couple of things. If you go to my toolkit page here, there is an attachment styles summary table there that you might find useful. I find it's just one of those stick in your diary summaries of a really complex subject, which can be helpful. particularly if you pretty well know your stuff on attachment and you want a quick hit or something you can just pull out and use as a kind of aid memoir or a reference point while you're talking with somebody else. That might be useful. And if it's an older child that you're dealing with, Sarah, you might find it that you could even use it with them, although it's just text. And that's something that I borrowed with permission and adapted slightly from Phil Rich. Has done a lot of work on using attachment theory with particularly teenagers who offend, and particularly where there's sexually problematic behaviour. Anyway, so there we go. So just to say again, thank you for all your input on that. It's absolutely brilliant, and it's just lovely to see so many really good resources, stuff I've discovered this morning that I didn't know about. In fact, I ordered a book this morning as a result of some of it. So brilliant. Thank you for that. Right, I'm going to flick across and check the chat and just see who's in. Right, who else is coming? Jackie's in. Sheila's in. Hi, Sheila. Hi, Pam. Deborah's saying, got the audio version of The Body Keeps the Score now, so really managing to crack on with it. I know, isn't it brilliant? Fascinated about the amygdala and sensitivity to serotonin. I know. Oh, my word, yeah. You're just kind of tweaking my geeky brain science strings then. If you're really into brain science, check out the Brain Science podcast. It's a swim in the deep end, mind. But it's good. It's really good. And again, I've bought books off that. Some that I'm still a bit scared to read because they're a bit technical. But it's really good. Anyway, so great that, Deb, that you're enjoying the audio book. I have that. I have, you listen to, I listen to loads of audio books. I read voraciously. I mean, I almost read as much as I eat. And but what I find is having Body Keeps the Score, it's one I cycle through. I have a couple of books that I cycle through over and over that are workbooks, and a couple that are unplug your brain, think about something completely different books. So I strongly recommend Audible. It's brilliant. Hi, Nicola. Hi, Tim. Hi, Pam. Tim's saying there was a fantastic project funded by Welsh Government about 8 or so years ago called Young Offenders Learning Project. Youth workers made links with young people in custody before release and supported their return to community. Had fantastic results. Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. And there's a great group of people in Bristol called 16 to 25 independent people. They're doing some fantastic work on resettlement. We did a lot of work with youth offending teams in Wales using the trauma recovery model, this model up here on the wall, triangle model, with prolific young people who offended, and one of the areas that was successful was in resettlement from custody. Really important. It's a key moment in kids' lives, isn't it? So really important there. Pam saying, in Cornwall, the charity I work for helps people aged 8 to 19 who are experiencing difficulties in their lives. We run several programs, including SPF 100, supporting prisoners' families. Brilliant. Stick a link to it in the Troubled Kids group, Pam, because again, along with Children Heard and Seen, I think this is a group that sometimes underserved. So it'd be good to know about that. Thanks for that. Sheila's saying, Saber-toothed tigers and teddy bears, great book explaining attachment in easy to understand language, published by Connected Baby. Saber-toothed tigers and teddy bears. Brilliant. Wow. It's fantastic. Great. Well, thank you for that, everybody. That is amazing. What I want to do now is, following a quick coffee slurp from my brain mug, like my brain mug. Fantastic. It's my favourite mug. And the problem with that is that means it's almost inevitably going to get broken before too long. And I'm kind of grieving in advance. Sometimes I pick it up, I think, oh, I love this mug. It's kind of axiomatic of my professional journey in a way. Sorting my own messed up brain out and then spending my life trying to sort other people's out. There we go. Saber-toothed Tigers is by Suzanne Zedick. It's good. It's good. Right. Lovely. Now then, website recommendation. On the let's have a look. When we were talking about Sarah's question about attachment, explaining attachment really to children, that can be tricky. Jenny Wainman hopped on in the group and left a comment in answer to Sarah's question, just since she mentioned the Anna Freud website. So we're going to go to that as our kind of recommended website this week. So bear with. Here we go. So anyway, just before I say that, so now Anna Freud, you'll doubtless have heard of Sigmund Freud, the father of psychoanalysis, and his wife Martha Bernays. They had a lot of children. They had six or more children. Their youngest child was Anna Freud, and she, as he did, worked in this country and is kind of now, along with Melanie Klein, recognised as being the sort of founder of child psychoanalytic psychology or psychotherapy. So she's a big hitter, and her legacy is significant, along with a number of others in the psychoanalysis field. So this is, let me share this with you. So this is, you'll see at the top here, Anna Freud National Centre for Children and Families, and there's some really good stuff in here. So I'm really grateful for Jenny Wainman posting this on the group. Thank you for that, Jenny, because I'd forgotten about this website. I mean, I had a little bit to do with the centre and met a couple of the people from there once, but it's such a good resource, and it's just, these things slip off your radar, don't they? So I'm grateful for the reminder. So on here, well, there's all kinds of stuff. So you can start here clicking, I'm a young person, I'm a parent or carer, I work in early years, I work in school or college, I'm a mental health professional, I'm a researcher. Let's just click on young person a second, see what's in here, because I haven't looked at these. Youth Wellbeing Directory, self-care, 90 plus strategies to help if you're feeling low or anxious, isolating, receiving support, what to expect when working with a service, jargon buster on mental health, helping someone else, how can you do that, shared decision making, knowing you're right. I mean, it's fantastic. So there's all kinds of stuff there. A couple of things that I clicked through early. If you go to the schools and colleges tab here, the drop down menu, there's a resources menu item. Look at this, man, it's fantastic. Self-care summer primary pack, just all kinds of stuff. Links here to the pack itself. You can download that, it's free. And then there's the guide that goes with it. There's a workbook in there. I mean, it's just brilliant. There's a podcast, of course, Child in Mind podcast. Let's just have a look, see what they've had on recently. What do we know about childhood anxiety and what parents can do about it? That's really pertinent in light of post-lockdown, returns to school, and now summer, and what's going to happen in the autumn. There'll be a build-up. There'll be a relief period now, then there'll be a build-up again, doubtless, as the summer advances. What is ADHD and what help is available for children with ADHD? You just watch me on a live stream, you see what somebody with ADHD looks like. What are eating disorders? What is trauma and how does it affect the brain? So, I mean, just brilliant stuff. Bonding with your baby. It's just rich in good stuff. Now, there was something down here. Here you go. Expert advice and guidance videos. So we're under the top, schools and colleges. Go to resources. And then scroll down, expert advice and guidance videos. Now, this is a wealth of stuff in here. Look at this. First one. Peter Fonagy. I mean, the father of kind of mentalization and that need to intelligently empathize with other people. And the first job we have to do in helping somebody is help them to understand that we understand. They need to feel heard. And, brilliant. So, I mean, that's the first thing on here. Schools in Mind Network. Mental health and wellbeing in schools. Advice for mental health lead in schools. Dr. Peter Fuggle on mentalisation, adolescent brain, practical advice for schools, Dickon Bevington. And on it goes. Dave Trickey, he's a good fellow, Dave, talking about young people and traumatic events. Rosalind Law on depression in adolescence. These are videos and they're free, man, and they're just there. Look at that, engaging parents, looked after children awareness, looked after children advice. And on it goes. It's just a great resource, so I recommend that to you, commend it to you. It really is quite super duper, and and well worth a look. So I'm going to just flick back here. Right, let's have a look. Nicola saying, The Brain House cartoon video teaches about the upstairs and downstairs brain. Fantastic. Deborah, again, talking about attachment. She used something that I posted. A small person learning to be a person from a big person. Absolutely. That's the distillation of my 30 years of trying to read and understand attachment, is that essentially there's something, it's that relational thing that happens or doesn't happen, which enables this isolated, disconnected, precognitive, non-verbal being, a child, to grow, develop, tune into their body and their emotions, people around, to put language on that, to develop the ability to reason and think through, and then become a sentient, functioning, socially connected human being. Attachment is that. It's a small person learning to be a person from a big person. Thank you, Deb. Yeah, absolutely dead right. Lovely. If you're watching on YouTube, welcome. We are streaming in the Trouble Kids group. If you subscribe, you'll get the notifications once the replays are up. So welcome aboard. You can join here. Just search Trouble Kids group in Facebook and we answer the questions. Agree to the rules and you're in. And it'll be good to have you. So, couple of things I need to say. I'm gonna give these two away. Where are we? There you go. We're giving these two away in a minute. If you would like one of these, put the word me, M-E, in the comments now. Well, I'm just going to talk for a minute or so, and then we're going to do our random selection of two winners for the book. But I just wanted to say that this is the second to last one of these that I'm going to do in this current run. So next week, 22nd of July, I believe that's right, it's 15th today, isn't it? Yeah, 22nd of July, Wednesday at noon, we'll go again. It will be our last one. There's a number of reasons for that. One is it's the school holidays. There's a natural kind of breaking point. Work routines will change for a lot of people, including me. I will also be trying to unplug from the screens for a couple of weeks at some point, but I'm not sure entirely when. So I'm just going to bail for the summer holiday period and then reassess during that time as to whether we carry on in September, and if so, in what form. I've loved doing this. It's great. I would happily carry it on if it's useful to people. But it's time for a breather. So we're going to do one next week, and then there will be a break for at least that 6-week period, and then we'll reappraise things in the autumn. I will at some point later in the year be starting to travel again and training, and that makes this difficult or more complicated to plan anyway. So we may do it in slightly different form. What I would like to do is continue to be available this way. I really like doing it, and the feedback I get is so lovely that I kind of don't want to withdraw that as something that's helping folks. So again, maybe what I may do is take questions and do quick 5-minute hit videos rather than necessarily need to be live. Having said that, for me, some of the value of this is from the comments and knowing you guys are there and us being able to have a bit of to and fro. So please consider, if you've got a comment or a thought about how we might do this, you can get me on any of these streams. This is my email here, mail@johnnymatthew.com. So please let me know how this has been for you, how helpful it is for you, and how we might improve it, whether we do it at a different time, a different day, whether we scrap this as a format and just post answers to questions, whether you want to see interviews, if so, who with, all that kind of stuff. I'm completely committed to doing more stuff online in the digital format and through video. So that's not an issue. I spent a fortune buying gear. I'm enjoying using it and it seems to be useful, but I want to meet a need. So please let me know what you think. Okay, enough of me waffling. Right, here we go. So we got a few me's in. So I'm just going to... What I have to do is find the middle of the me list, because I got one of these scroll wheels on my mouse, so I kind of scroll back and forth and then go from there. Right, here we go. Random book selection fanfare. Right. 1. Deborah. 2. Sheila. Deborah and Sheila. I didn't move my wheel much then, did I? Anyway, there we go. Fate is fate. So I'm going to put love hearts on these, guys. Don't take offence. It's not a digital gesture of misogyny. It's just a love heart to remind me that you other people got picked. So if you guys can let me have your... Just email me, mail@johnnymatthew.com. Let me have your... postal addresses. I will get these in the post to you ASAP, and you can enjoy those. Now, for those of you who, let me just find, because I think I'll just show you this on the Mac. There is a link in the description, and it's the... I think it's the top link in the description. It just is inspiration from Ace Interrupters in Great Britain. And that'll take you to this page, if you can see that. And this book is free to read digitally. So you can just read it here. There you go. There's my mugshot. Changing attitudes. There we go. Liz Gregory's brilliant. She's the head of the Child and Family Psychology Service in Gwent, and actually has a blog called, I think it's Let's Talk About Children's Mental Health, or We Need to Talk About Children's Mental Health. It's a really good blog. So anyway, there we go. That's it. So if you didn't win today, commiserations, but actually you can read it for free online there. So I hope that serves you as well. Brill. Quick last look, see what's happening here. Me, even though I shouldn't be picked as I won last week. Well done, Vicky. Listen, get in life's lottery every time, I say. You never know. But thank you, everybody else. Jennifer, Laws, Jonathan, Lulu, Alison. Hope school's going well, Alison. Pam, Rachel, Nicola, Adele, Jackie, Vicky, Michelle Burns, Beck, Joan, everybody else. Brilliant. Thank you for chipping in and playing a part. Jackie says, these sessions have been amazing, so helpful. Thank you for all your hard work, and to everyone else for their advice. Would love for it to carry on after the holidays. Would prefer it to be later in the day, but obviously your work commitments come first. Sadly they do, but what I'm planning on, once lockdown has taught me one thing, which is I hate travelling, I am going to do more and more stuff where I can write stuff and train here, try and make a living doing that, so that it frees me up to do the stuff I really like doing, which is this. So my plan absolutely is to keep going with this sort of stuff. But thank you for that, Jackie, bless you, really appreciate it. So I think that's us, guys. So just one last reminder, if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe. You can get me on any one of these channels. Please join me next Wednesday, 22nd of July at noon for the final one in this current run. Not the final ever, I'm sure, but certainly the final one in this current run. We can have a breather for the summer. Put lockdown and the summer term behind us and press on. So thanks, guys. I will see you again. Please take care of yourselves. So important. And have a good week. I look forward to seeing you next week on the Trouble Kids live stream number 12. Catch you then. Have a good week. Cheers.